Welcome to Technology Tools that Target Executive Function Skills. My name is Sarah Hussein Bazar, an ATS coach in Fairfax County Public School. Presenting with me today is my fellow ATS coach, Kim Malanowski, which you will see later during this presentation. We will share our contact information and also additional notes at the end of this presentation. Today's presentation includes a brief description of executive function, its skills, deficits, and impacts of these skills. Additionally, high and low tech tools that can support the mentioned EF skills. Before we get into the technology tools and strategies, let's take a look at what EF is and how it's defined. According to understood.org, a nonprofit that provides resources and support so people who learn and think differently can thrive in school, at work, and throughout life. EF is a set of mental skills that include working memory, flexible thinking, and self-control. We use these skills every day to learn, work, and manage daily life. Trouble with executive function can make it hard to follow directions, focus, and handle emotions, among other things. Difficulties in these clusters lead to attention deficits as individuals have difficulty organizing tasks, getting started, remaining engaged, remaining alert, maintaining a level emotional state, regulating their emotions, applying working memory and recall, including self-monitoring.
Remember, we must teach executive function skills as teachers, just as we teach a child to walk. We must model the executive function skills that we want them to learn. Children aren't born with these skills, but they're born with the potential to develop them. But most importantly, children who do not stay on task, who lose control of their emotions, or who are easily distracted are not bad kids. They're not being intentionally uncooperative and belligerent. Now that we have a better understanding about executive function, let's take a look at some inclusive tools that can support and target executive function skills. Any students can use these. Students that are special education, general education, English language learners, or honors. Some of the tools that we're going to talk about today are Schoology, Google Workspace and Google Chrome, and a few others. So now let's take a couple minutes to talk about tips to support executive function that are built into Schoology. All of these are things that teachers can do to support your students. For instance, one of the first is to name assignments the same everywhere, in Schoology, in SIS, and when you're talking about it. Also, use the Schoology calendar and add due dates. That's one of the most important things, is to add due dates to your assignments. They will automatically populate in Schoology. And if you can get all of the teachers in a team to use the calendar, then your students will have a complete picture of their assignments. Use the course materials section. Use hyperlinks. Create videos so that students understand thoroughly the assignment. And then model. In the beginning, show them how to find these things in Schoology. Show them how to access and add documents in their Schoology. Teach and reteach how to access Schoology and their calendars. So this page should look familiar. It's one of the first pages when you're in Schoology. Teach your students to access this page during class or when they have free time so they can get in the habit. They can toggle to the calendar and have views monthly, weekly, or daily. Although not showing here, at the bottom, it will also show assignments that have recently been completed. That can help students know if something has been sent to their teacher or not. Another way to help students is to color code. And again, this might require you working with other teachers on your team, but many students are visual learners. And so they can take a quick glance at something and know that, per se, if it's in red, it's English. If it's in yellow, it's history, etc. So when they're in the calendar or they're in the dashboard, color coding allows the student to gather information at a glance. Another thing that I think is really awesome is that students can add an app to their iPhone, to their iPad, and then they can access Schoology from any device. We know that students are always looking at their phones, so hopefully they will take a peek and see when things might be due if they have their phone in their hand. And if Schoology isn't their primary calendar, they can always enable and add the calendar to another one of their calendars so that they have all of their information in one place. Another feature that I think is really cool is that students can set up notifications or reminders to be sent to them via text. That way you can make a comment, you can update information, and it will trigger a reminder to go to the student's phone. Another function of Schoology that I think is so cool and helpful to teachers and in the end students is that you can access a list of all assignments and due dates for all of your students across all of your classes, as long as all of the other teachers are putting the information in Schoology. That way, if you want, you can tailor a due date and time to when the students have more time. For instance, you might not want to schedule a history exam on the same day that they have a math exam and an English exam.
I love Google Workspace, mostly because how it provides a neat way to organize and present materials to students. The different apps available in Google support many executive function skills, such as organizing, planning, monitoring, and initiating academics on non-academic activities. Each of these topics mentioned here include videos and support materials. At the end of this presentation, we will share our email address, so please reach out if you would like access to these resources. Google Calendar supports time management skills. The app links directly to Schoology. You can help block off segments of time to concentrate on important tasks, set alerts and notifications about upcoming events. Color code block times of meetings or events, easily syncs to other devices, and you can view your calendar either daily or weekly or even monthly. Google Drive is a file storage and synchronization service in which your students have access to. It is also a digital organization and functional system tool that helps us stay in control. Here are a few tips to help set up your Google Drive. Students can organize their schoolwork by creating folders and subfolders, color code folders by subjects, or using emojis. Teachers and instructional staff can use a whole school approach to colors and folders. Share folders with teachers where students store their homeworks and assignments. This helps with avoiding missing schoolwork. Name documents purposely, and most importantly, set up end of year clean out to clear out all that clutter. I've added a link to a video that explains how to set up your Google Drive. Remember to reach out to our email address at the end of this presentation so you too can have access to these amazing videos and resources. Google Keep is a note-taking app offered by Google Suites. You can capture notes, edit, share, and collaborate with others. All students in FCPS have access to Google Keep. These are some features available in Google Keep. You can change colors to a note. You can add a picture, add checkboxes for to-do lists. You can add reminders, including collaborators such as your teachers and other peers if you're working on a certain project. You can archive and delete a note. You can use labels such as contents or subjects, math, English, science, and you can create notes under each label. You can use the search function. You can also pin notes that are important. Reminder, at the end of this presentation, please reach out via email if you would like access to this presentation, including the hyperlink that has access to the videos and the resource materials as well. Let's take a closer look at Google Keep. There are different ways you can access the note-taking app while on the web. If you're in Google, you can select Google Keep from the waffle. Another way is type Google Keep on the search bar. Once you're in Google Keep, you have the options on the left side where you have reminder, labels, notes, edit labels, and archive. You can view your notes either using the list or the grid view option. You also have the option to enable dark mode as a visual preference. Here, we are on the Google Keep page. Let's create a Google Keep note. Creating a Google Keep note is simple. Click on Take a Note, give it a title, select the three dots below, and choose checkboxes if it's a to-do list. Add your items. You can also set a reminder by clicking on the bell icon. You can add a collaborator if you'd like to share your note. You can also select a color option. You can also add a label. Here I added a personal label and I just organized my notes under that label. You can also pin it if it's an important note, and that way it will carry to the very top of your previous notes. You can also archive it, and it will remain in the archive folder or the archive label. You can also delete it, and Google allows you to have access to it for up to 30 days. So another application that Google Workspace provides for students in Fairfax County is Google Docs or Google Document. And within Google Document, you can help students with paragraph writing by using graphic organizers. Here's an example that we have here that's called Tables to Text. We have a scenario where students have difficulty following steps. Your child has to write a paragraph on a story the teacher read in class, but can't figure out how to organize the information. The role of executive function challenges, it can be hard to plan out work steps. Kids may have trouble coming up with a strategy for tackling an assignment. Teach your child to write a hamburger paragraph. The top bun is the sentence that introduces the idea. The burger and fixings are the details that back up the idea. And the bottom bun is a sentence that summarizes and holds everything together. So this is a great organizational tool that helps kids at different grade levels handle all sorts of writing assignments. Here we have an example of the hamburger paragraph template graphic organizer. It is a table created on Google Doc. Students are tasked to write a paragraph, but they have trouble organizing their information. With the graphic organizer, they're able to organize their thoughts by adding sentences in each row. After students added their sentences in the table or in the graphic organizer, they're then encouraged to copy their text. So they'll highlight, right-click on their mouse, and select copy. Onto the Google Doc, they will use Control-Shift-V, that is paste special. It will carry the information onto the Google document without the table. This executive function tool helps summarize their thoughts and support their writing needs.
Smart Chips is something new from Google. Only has come out maybe in the last year. And it's a way for you or for students to quickly access information. You can insert Smart Chips into your Google Doc by typing the @ symbol. And some of the things you can then quickly access are other Google documents, Google Sheets, slides, or a YouTube video. You could access dates, a Google Calendar entry. They also have timers and stopwatches, which could be very crucial for those students with executive function. They can locate places and map directions. And then there are also templates that have been pre-made, or you can make your own template. So this GIF briefly shows you what you can do with the Smart Chips. After they've been embedded into a document, the user can hover over them and kind of get a snapshot of what that document is. This example shows just how easy using Smart Chips can be. You start out by typing the @ symbol, and then you start with a letter. In this case, it's the letter T. And as you can see, brings up a name. It can bring up a file. It can also bring up dates, times, or other documents. I know I've said it before, but I do feel that this is really cool. As a teacher, you would be able to support students with executive function by assigning tasks. And you can do this through a Google Doc, but it will show up, those tasks will show up on the right-hand side in a student's Google Drive. This GIF shows you how to assign tasks in Google Docs. Other options for Smart Chips include a timer, an alarm, or a stopwatch. And as a teacher, you can activate these by just typing the @ symbol and then including timer, @ symbol, alarm, and you can project them up on the board, or students can do this on their own to monitor their own executive function. Reading mode is fairly new to Google Chrome, and it's designed to support students who get easily distracted, but also to support students that struggle with reading. And there is a video attached at the bottom that kind of gives you the complete look at reading mode. So as Sarah has said, please, at the end of this presentation, go ahead and contact either one of us and we can send you a copy of this presentation with all of the links. On the next couple of slides, I will show you where reading mode is housed within Google Chrome and how it works. As you can see from this slide, you access it in the upper right corner. When you click on your side panel in the upper right, it opens this window. And within the window on the right-hand side, you can see right there, it begins with a bookmarks tab. Click on the drop-down arrow. When you click on that drop-down arrow, you'll get about 5 choices. One of those choices will be reading mode. The next slide is going to go through how that reading mode works.